We're back. Mustard in hand, good friends at the bar, Mustard Mondays at Dunn's, DDO in the market. My good buddy, who we had the chance to speak in the car. We've spoken at events together. You've been a great ambassador for a lot of the causes that are really dear to me and the company. You're a community man. Give us your 30-second pitch, man.
So we have Northeast Mortgages, Northeast Realties, Northeast Financial. So we basically, we specialize in all aspects of real estate and financial planning and estate planning and all that kind of good stuff. We're like a one-stop shop, although I hate that term.
I know.
But that's basically what we are.
People get it as soon as you say that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about community involvement, because your marketing is very different. You are the kind of guy, Gary Vaynerchuk likes to say, jab, jab, hook, or something like that, in the sense of providing so much value that you become the reference point for higher value things and you become like the go-to guy. Mm-hmm. How did you build up to that? Where did you start from, and how did you get to be on the radio and have all these shows and be known as the guy to go to for any money situation?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I think that a big part of it was my philosophy was always...
You don't mind if I eat, do you?
No, please go ahead. I'm actually going to steal a couple of your fries. These Dunn's fries are amazing.
So good, so good.
So, I think a big part of it had to do with my ethos, if you will, or what I actually wanted to give back to the community, and that was actually education. Mm-hmm. So the whole philosophy behind Northeast and what we do is we educate the client. That's the primary thing. Through education, people will naturally gravitate to us and they'll want us to do their mortgages and whatnot. But we have a ton of people that will reach out to me, whether it's on the radio or whether it's
for small questions.
For small questions, and sometimes even big ones.
Big deals.
And, we'll try and help as much as we can, because that's the way that we end up giving back to the community, and that's how we give back to the people that have always supported us.
The thing for me, that's the huge differentiator between somebody who has staying power and somebody who has that reputation from somebody who is, a little fickle on social media or fickle in the media, is that that stamina. Yeah. You're somebody who's been in the game for a long time. How do you keep up that momentum and that stamina for so freaking long? Every week you're consistent. You're out there.
Yeah.
How do you keep it up? And I know that your wife has something to do with it.
She's a huge part of it. Honestly, she really is. But I think that there's a certain amount of screws that you actually have to have loose in your head. Yeah. Because I can tell you, when I started off, right? So when I started in the radio business and got into mortgages, there wasn't that immediate kind of result, right? So I got into it, I started doing the radio shows, and I would get like the odd call here and there. And a lot of people, that's when they kind of look at it and they're like, that's it, I'm done, I'm moving.
The pipeline is completed.
Yeah, it's not working.
Or it's not working.
It's not working, right? So they're going to look at it and no, it's not working, it's not giving me the results that I want. When that ended up happening, when I kind of saw it, I said, okay, how can I reinvent it? How can I retweak it? So I basically pushed on, persevered, added a little here, added a little bit there, found out from people what they liked, what they didn't like, and then kind of reinvented the shows and reinvented, the advertising and all that to basically reach out a broader audience.
You understood your core a little better.
Exactly. And then just persisted through it, and then pushed through it and pushed through it and pushed through it. And then by doing that, it ended up giving the results that it has today.
Amazing.
But you can kind of look at it and say an overnight success. It's not an overnight success. It's like an overnight success 10 years in the making.
It takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that quote. So you have a very similar marketing approach to me. Being recognized for your philanthropy, your community engagement, and you may or may not reap the benefits to your company and to your personal brand and personal reputation. How do you make sense of the community engagement that you do? What are the benefits that you derive from it? And what is the direct impact on your business?
So we all have to focus on something that's bigger than us, right? If we live in a society where everyone was focused on themselves and focused on just their ego and just their own being, we wouldn't evolve, we wouldn't grow as a society, right? So you can kind of look at my business and you could look at me and you could say, well, Terry, you've done very well for yourself.
Sure.
You make a good living. You don't need to go any further, right? You can just kind of end it here and you'll live very comfortably for the rest of your life. But that's me. I'm living comfortably. That's not my kids. That's not my grandkids. And that's not my community, right? So what I want to do is, once I've secured myself, now I want to look out past me, past my sphere. So go to my kids. Think about my grandkids. Think about how I can actually give back to the community. And that's why we start to do these efforts where, we'll do sponsorships. We'll do, what do you call it?
The awards.
Yeah, the awards. Yeah. We'll do like all these things that go outside of our immediate sphere and use our resources, financial, to be able to give back to the community, educate, the future kind of leaders, if you will, because our school system right now, as far as I'm concerned, is useless.
They're not doing enough.
They're not doing enough.
And you had a great chat with Joanne earlier.
Yeah.
And I got the tail end of it. It got a little heated, and you basically. There's a huge generational gap between the Greek parenting style of your parents and the old school mentality of my grandparents who came here, who were first generation. What kind of children are we raising today, and what do we need to do to make sure that we're in good hands?
Well, you know what, we're when you look at it, we're raising a generation right now of there's one of my mentors who calls our generation a generation of snowflakes.
Yeah.
And
that's putting it nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, that is putting it nicely. We don't get awarded anymore, or our kids don't get awarded for actually placing first, second, or third. They're going to get awarded for participation, which it just doesn't make sense. You're in the courtroom, right, every day, or every few days.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be nice when you walk into the courtroom, the judge kind of looks at you and says, Jamie, you showed up. You came here.
Good for you.
You showed up. Good for you. And because of that, you get like this participation award.
I get a sticker.
And your client walks.
Yeah.
Right? Your client walks. You win, man.
That's the analogy for the parenting style of today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that.
It just does not make sense. We are setting up our kids for failure. We're setting up our kids to not going to know how to interact and how to move through society moving forward when they get older, because people in our generation and people that we're raising, like for example my kids, they're very disciplined, very kind of very strong work ethic that we're trying to instill in them. They're gonna slaughter the snowflakes. They're just going to.
You're raising Spartans.
I'm raising Spartans. Yeah. For people that don't know, I am Spartan.
You're raising Spartans. What's next for you? Give us some of the trends that are in your mind to help other people raise Spartans or become Spartans. How do we get to the next level? There's a lot of 10X and Cardone and people who will really drive that, helping you to boost your abilities to the next level. What's your secret sauce? Because you're into that stuff and you have a great base and you have a lot of great mentors.
Yeah.
Hit us with a little bit of knowledge about how we can better ourselves every freaking day.
So the first thing is stop limiting yourself to I need to make $100,000 a year. I need to make $150,000 a year. That's all I need. That's bullshit. Okay, that's like the limitations that have been put onto us by society. It's the limitations that have been put onto us by parents, teachers, peers, society in general, right? So you got to think past your sphere. You got to look at it and say, okay, I need this, but what do I need now to feed my community? What do I need to go past myself? So you got to look past yourself. Once you're able to work and look past yourself, then you got to kind of look at, what am I willing to give up? What am I willing to give for this? And you're going to find that your friends and family and your wife and your girlfriend and your boyfriends and all that stuff, they're going to support you in the decisions that you make until it impacts their interests. The minute their interests are impacted, are not aligned, then all of a sudden they're not going to support you anymore.
It becomes inconvenient.
Exactly. So that inconvenience has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed early on. When you're building something, when you're trying to get somewhere, this is serious conversations that you need to have with your spouses, with the people that are around you in your circle, so that they are aware that everything that you're actually doing, you're doing for the betterment of their that's the family unit, if you will.
So important. And I had a great conversation. I was hosting on a show the other day, and one of the shortfallings that I recognized is not communicating a proper vision to my team. so that they know where they're going in their career and within the organization. I think the same thing applies, to family life and business life.
Yeah.
Really everything. Communication is everything.
That's right.
As you know.
Yeah. Well, I think that a big part of it with the new generation also, once upon a time...
Man, you were hating on the new generation.
No.
Cut them a little bit of slack,
I'm cutting
the snowflakes.
There's a lot of great people in, the millennial generation and even younger. I mean, there's a lot of incredible talent out there, right? That actually works really hard. But they're not as prevalent as maybe other generations.
They're rare.
So I lost my train of thought now. I don't know what we were talking about. What were we talking about? So anyways,
we're going back to...
Oh yeah, so I remember. I think that the previous generations, like if you're looking at our generation and even our parents' generation, they're used to the leaders almost being like dictators, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of coming in and saying, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this.
Yes.
That doesn't work, okay? So you can, be
Those days are over.
Those days are over.
Yeah.
You can be a leader that kind of pushes your people, into battle, or you can be the leader that actually leads your people into battle, right? So you can actually be in the front lines and you can follow me as opposed to go that way and kind of sit back and look from the sidelines, right?
I like that.
And for myself, that's one of the things that I look at and what I do. I always try and kind of be in the trenches with my people, lead by example, and people will follow you when you do that.
Because people can still smell the gunpowder on your shirt.
Exactly.
You're out there in battle.
Yeah.
And people can still call you for mortgage advice. You may not always be available.
Yeah.
But you're accessible.
That's right. 100%.
So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going to be with us, Duns, in the West Island, right here in DDO, December 11th. This is going to be. Joe, why don't you come on in? Tell us what we're going to be doing on December 11th.
Come on.
This is our producer.
So December 11th
Apparently.
is the Radiothon. It's going to take place here at Dunn Studio. And in the evening, we're going to take over the machine and run an event for, of course, Lakeshore General Hospital. We invite everyone to join us. And at 8 p.m., we're going to film the party show here. So that's what's happening. Terry, you're coming?
Absolutely.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I invited?
Jamie's invited. So that's it.
Guys,
December 11th.
Another episode of Mustard Monday. I think you're going to be in the hot seat.
I am next
Mustard
week.
Monday.
Yeah, I am.
I love this. Great smoke meat, great company. December 11th is all going down. Come and meet your favorite West Islanders. You're West Island.
DDO.
You're a DDO guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're close enough to DDO. West Island. Who's who of the West Island is going to be here. Can't wait to see you on December 11th.